Hello and welcome to our everyday adventures for Alton Towers 2013. We've come down. We've done 2 days. It was the 5th and 6th of November. So this is our review of everything Alton Towersy. Now we go to Alton Towers semi-regular. So the two big new things for ourselves for this one was Nemesis Subterra and the Smiler. I will just say now that the Smiler was broken down. I think it was about
the guide wheels fell off and hit someone in the face.
I think it was about the third that happened, wasn't it?
It's the fourth, I think. Third or the fourth, anyway. Yeah, so it's been shut down whilst they do serious investigation work on that one, because it's obviously the big fireworks weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so they definitely want it up and running for then.
Yeah, so never mind. I remember coming when Oblivion had first opened and it broke down.
New rise break, it happens.
Every
Better
5
safe than
seconds.
sorry at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if bits are falling off it. I mean, everyone walked away from that one,
Yeah.
but yeah, as I say, I remember that when the Oblivion was first built, it broke down every 10 seconds. Nowadays, the Oblivion runs like clockwork. You know, give it a year or two, it'll be fine. But it's gonna be funny. That's life.
Yes.
So,
but the merchandise was taunting us.
yeah, we'll go into that when we go through all the stuff. There was, we'll go what we wanted, but basically, for a quick rundown of the 2 days, and then we'll do a full review of what we think of everything there. Because even if we didn't go on it this time, we've done it before. Basically, at this time it was 10 till 4.
Yes.
Was when we were in both days. First day was very much trying to get in as many rides as possible of all the different types.
Yeah. All the ones we like and all the ones that were new.
Yeah, and sorry, I'm very tired. I'm going to lose my train of thought a few times in this.
And today,
yeah,
we mainly focused on the big rides.
and doing it multiple times.
And doing them multiple times. I mean, I think we did Rita 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And the same with Aaron Nemesis.
Yeah. And we also did a couple of bits that we missed yesterday because they were off route.
Yes.
Or bust or whatever. So that's basically the way we attacked the parks.
It's off season, midweek, and all the schools are back in, so it was super quiet.
The longest we had to queue for anything was to get the monorail
back home,
back to the car park at the end of the day, because everyone leaves all at once when all the rides close down.
Yes.
Everyone does the same thing, which is go on all the rides until they tell them you're not allowed on them anymore. Go to the big main gift shop and mooch about that and see if there's anything you want, and then go home. And yeah, so it was absolutely mobbed on the train back, but that was it. I think absolutely no waiting time. It was soggy though today.
Yeah, both days, well, yesterday and today, it's been raining.
Yeah.
And raining. We briefly had some sunny spells yesterday, but mostly it's been raining.
Yeah, we were okay. It's been weird because we had the first day it was raining in the morning and then let up in the afternoon. And then today it's been
It was okay.
Okay in the morning, you know, it wasn't raining.
And then it got steadily worse
throughout
the day. I mean, the last couple of rides were pretty soggy.
Yeah, the final ride we were on today was Rita, which is a super fast one. We'll speak about it properly later. But basically, it was the chap in front of us said it felt like we were being sandblasted because the rain was that thick and we were flying into it at such speeds. It was actually quite sore. I think you'll agree.
Yes.
So.
And wet.
Mm.
Anywho, just go to stop ourselves dithering, we've got the map here, and in it, it's got little descriptions of each ride.
So we can review the whole thing in one
So
big go.
we can quickly whiz round the park, section by section. So would you like the honours of the first one?
Well, should we do it section by section, yeah?
Yeah.
Shall I do Mutant eBay?
Okay.
No, you do Mutant eBay. You like Mutant eBay. Where shall I start? I'll start with Adventureland. Adventureland is quite a quick one to go through. It's not got much in it. Basically, it's literally Sonic Spinball, which probably the closest ride we've been on or similar to it is
Finding Nemo in Disneyland Paris.
Crush's Coaster. It's a spinny ride. It's a roller coaster. It's very cleverly built, actually. You sit in a car with two facing each way, and it fires you off around a roller coaster. But the cart can actually rotate on it.
That looks good.
It's pretty decent. It kept falling apart whilst we were here. It broke down a few times. Not for very long.
It would break down is almost the wrong word to use. It stalled. And
Yeah.
everybody just sort of sat there in their carts going,
For 20 minutes.
can we get off, please? No.
And then they fired it up again.
And then it got up and running, and it was fine. But that happens periodically. I don't know if that's maybe a weather thing.
It might be a weather thing. It might have been
Because
just
it's
the ride.
quite an established ride.
Mhm.
So it seems a bit weird to be buggy. Goodness knows. Anyhow, we weren't stuck on it. That was the main thing.
Yeah, and we had a few goes on it. I think the big one with it, I go, it's okay. It's a really good kids roller coaster. Actually, it's quite spinny. It's got some good sort of dips and swoops without being anything too intimidating. And the layout of it's very clever. One thing we found today, because it was so dead, they were just putting on people. Rather than filling the cart two on each side, they would go, if you went two, they'd just throw you on one cart and chucked you out. And because of the weight difference,
It's spun much better.
Spun brilliantly. And we had, because usually it just sort of turns. It doesn't spin, it just turns. Slowly but surely. At that time, it went mental. It was really good fun doing it that way. So, Sonic Spinball is a really good one. It's a really fun one for people who like roller coasters without being wanting to do the crazy scary ones. The next one on the list is Mr. Squirrel Nutty's Ride. Squirrel Nutty Ride. I wanted to say Nutty Squirrel's Ride, but it's the other way around.
Didn't do that this time, but we've done it before.
Yeah, there was no point this time.
It's a small kid ride. It's sort of like a monorail. You sort of sit in a giant nut being pushed by a squirrel, and you go around the Adventureland Park, and it's very pretty, very slow ride.
Yeah, and you can see that the park and things, and it's quite nice.
Yes, we were on an adventure today.
Yeah.
So we passed that one by.
Yeah, really good young kids one to point things out, but or if you're wanting something to just sit on, just to have a look around, it's okay. It's nothing. You'll see it when you see it, you know exactly what it is, sort of thing. And then it's got a play area, and it's got new for 2013 Squirrel Nutty Story Time. That wasn't happening because it's only at certain times, so off season didn't do that. Over to you. Do you want to do Mutiny Bay?
Okay. So the first thing is the Sea Life Centre, Shark Bait Reef, which was introduced
a couple of years ago, about 2010.
2009, 2010. That's last time.
Somewhere around there.
It's a Sea Life Centre, pirate themed, woo, and it's absolutely lovely.
Alright, don't worry about it.
the starfish are real. They're all called chocolate chip starfish.
Chocolate chip, did you say?
Yep. And if you notice, they're all slightly different. They are a bit like us as people. We are all technically the same thing, but we all are slightly different, say or hair colour or eye colour. And chocolate chip starfish do that as well.
Are you going to join the party?
Do you too?
No, I'm fine. No, I think I've got a friend coming.
The treasures of the ocean were all around me. If only I could have seen. If only you could see. You would be the richest of them all. I'm the hearty fellow gentleman of the ocean. Captain Blackbard here. I was first bringing way across the ice seas. Aboard a grand ship in search of treasure.
It's very small.
I wouldn't say it's
But
that small, actually.
What they've packed in, actually,
It's not as big as paid ones, but actually, it's got just as much to an extent.
it's really pretty. The layout's great. The staff I've always found really friendly in there as well,
Mhm.
which is really nice. Great place to go shelter out the rain and let lunch settle, which is kind of what we decided to do with it today.
Mhm.
And with those little shrimpies, and they cleaned our hands for us, which was tremendous.
They had that was quite good today, particularly. They had a
sort of rock pool, touch pool.
yeah,
kind of
touch
thing.
pool. That's the word.
But they didn't want us touching the starfish. They're like, you can put your hands in, and if the shrimp want to, they'll come up and clean your hands for you.
Yeah.
So
And yeah, the shrimp come on and sit on you and run around your hand and sort of tickle you and clean
little
up.
pincers underneath the nails and
And it was
things.
really funny,
It's tremendous fun.
Oh, we'd literally gone in, as we said, we'd let dinner settle. So we ate, so our hands, although we wiped our hands clean, they were still, we had ribs. So it was still smelled a bit
Guaranteed barbecue
barbecue-y.
sauce.
Yeah, we were still a bit barbecue-y. So yeah, I had 2 of them on me, and she was like, that means you've got minging hands. I'm like, oh, fair enough. But it was
Barbecue
also,
sauce.
because I had 2 little shrimps running around me, so it wasn't complaining. Really good fun. And yeah, and it's got the usual sort of, it's not very long, but it's got a walk-through tunnel where you can see everything above you, full of sharks and rays and usual stuff. The other clever thing they've done, actually, you'll see as you go through, is actually you'll see bits of the same thing. So like the tunnel, it's kind of built around that.
Yeah, so that's a central tank.
Yeah.
So at one side there's a big viewing window of that tank, and then around another side there's like a bulb in the tank that you sort of put your head in.
Yeah.
And then you've got the big massive tunnel that goes through and all this sort of stuff.
Mhm.
You work your way around it, but even the wee tanks have this, which we thought was quite interesting.
Yeah, so it makes the viewing experience very different, because it's like, yeah, on one side you'll just see the tank and it's very pretty. If you go around the back, yeah, there's a bulb that you can actually put your head in, and it makes the tank look very different actually, and lets you see a different angle. Or because of the way the tank's shaped, it's things like you'll have the friendly fish, you know, the like open space at the front, but actually the bulb or a little porthole is around the back, like into a thin cave. So that's where the more fish who like the claustrophobic areas will hide out. So even though they'll live together in a tank and won't hurt each other, they live in very different environments within the tank. Really clever layout for minimal size, but pretty, really pretty.
Definitely worth popping in and having a look at.
Yeah, as I say, I've had worse experiences in paid. You know, you usually pay like £10-15 for a Sea Life Centre, and you could spend just as long in that one because they've made it look so good.
Yeah. And this one's Marauders Mayhem, but we just call it the gun barrels. It's effectively the old teacups done
Yes.
up to be gun barrels, and it's tremendous fun. I always have great fun on the gun barrels.
Yeah, they look like cut in half powder kegs, and it's the teacups. You sit in a bucket and spin the thing, and they spin you, and you spin yourself, and
Tremendous fun.
they're always great. Actually, always make a point of doing it. We did it once each day because it's good fun. I can't say much more. Who doesn't like the teacups, really?
Well, it's the spinny rides.
It's a spinny ride. Oh yeah, you can get them really sicky if you get a couple of big lads, you can really crank that handle and get it going.
Now, don't be a kid.
I've got a nice big burp on the camcorder now.
Ahoy there, shipmates! Before we be setting sail, we be needing to get the bars down. So pull them down so the kids don't see the snap on your paddles.
The next one on our list is Heave Ho. Now that was basically a baby sort of rocking boat, if you will.
Basically,
But instead of sort of swinging back and forth
on a pendulum.
it more sort of did a little bit, but actually spun at the same time that sort of direction. So
It's sort of built into a half pipe, a bit like the RC car at Disneyland. But it's very little half pipe, and it doesn't go terribly steep, and yet it can sort of spin on the axis as well. And again, it doesn't spin terribly fast.
it's an introduction to the swing boat.
Yeah, it's a good kid. I would say it's a really good kids ride because
We had to go on it yesterday because it's like we love that one.
yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, you've got to go on the kids rides. So that's it's a great kids ride. Go on it if you're doing 2 days and have time to do it. Do it. It's a laugh. I'd only do it once. It's not the world's greatest ride, but it's fun. I like it. It's very cleverly designed.
Next on the list is Battle Galleons, which we didn't do this time because it was too cold and wet. Battle Galleons is basically these little ships on the lake. They're on a track and they go round, and you've got to pump water cannons into all these barrels and stuff to trigger off little animatronic display things. And all the people around the ride have got water cannons, and they can spray you and you can spray them, and everybody
In
gets soaked. In the
it's
summer,
awesome.
brilliant. Not this time of year. Far too cold, so we passed by that. And to be honest, I think I saw 2 people on that ride over the 2 days, so most people took that advice too.
Yeah, we actually had, where we came off, we actually had what someone say, don't do that,
Yeah.
you will get soaked. When we were complaining about wet rides we'd been on, or not complaining, saying that we'd got wet on wet rides. What I like about the Battle Galleons is that it changed one of the most boring rides.
But I don't remember these.
She doesn't remember it. I remember it vaguely from when I used to go as a kid. It used to be the swan boats, and it was very, very pretty for Granny. And then it got really dilapidated, and then it didn't get used for years. Basically, it was a boat, and it looked like a swan. And you sat on it, and it went round in a pretty little thing around the lake, and it went round in a pretty little course, and then you got off, and that was it, and it looked quite pretty.
Not
and
for
then,
boys who are too small to get on the Nemesis to go on.
yeah, not something you really want to do. And that was it. And it was very pretty. It used to be in a lot of the adverts, sort of, especially when sort of the haunted house first got built, and that the swan boats were still quite a thing. They were still quite pretty and clever, having the underwater track and stuff. But yeah, they were boring, and then they sort of got a bit dilapidated and didn't even look pretty, and then they just sat and didn't get used for years. And then they built this onto it, and added all of this really cool animatronics of sharks going around and pirates firing water cannons and stuff like that. So it's and yeah, you get wet on this, and the fact that all the cannons around the sides got crank handle, so that you don't even need to be on the ride to enjoy it. So the kids can go on it, and the mum can sit and spray back, and I think they've designed it so that you can get hit if you're on the sidelines, but it's hard to get hit. So you can, and also you can just jump back if need be. So mum can have a go and shoot the kids.
In the summer, when it's busy, the queue also goes around all the water cannons. So
or a certain amount of them, yeah.
People waiting in the queue are standing next to the cannons, so they are in use in the summer.
Yeah, and it's brilliant fun.
It's very good fun.
So I really highly recommend it summertime if you're good for it. If not, it's just pretty. It's just really cool looking.
Talking of more water rides, the Flume, which I wouldn't have considered part of Mutiny Bay.
Well, it's right beside it. I think they should maybe do it up as a Mutiny Bay rather than what it is.
Yes, the Flume, which is your basic log flume ride. You know, it's got is it 2 small drops and then the big drop.
Yeah.
And you're in a bathtub and you sort of going around this track, and there's a couple of sort of duck animatronics. It used to be sponsored by Imperial Leather, but they've dropped it since. So it's kind of in between themes, and it sort of feels that way. It's sort of you go around it going, I think they should really do something with this.
Yeah.
Instead of sort of randomly being quacked at.
Yeah.
Catches you off guard, you're sort of going, oh, we're in the forest. Quack!
Yeah, I remember back in the day, I'm sure I was always told by my brother that there used to be sort of dinosaurs, and it was sort of dinosaur themed.
I can see that, yeah.
And then what I remember as was a sort of woodcutters theme, because it was a log flume. So yeah, it had all sort of woodcutters, and you went into the houses you went into were all woodcutters' houses and stuff. The Imperial Leather thing, I remember it being. Do you remember it being Imperial Leather?
I think the first time we went was the last year it was.
So you were.
I do remember it being sponsored and actually being pretty okay, but I mean that would have been about 5 years ago now.
No, that's fair enough. It shows in places basically because they haven't been keeping it clean. There's also one really key room which is just sort of empty, and you can actually see sort of paint pots and sort of white spirits bottles and stuff that people have just dumped there. And there's this one random little bathtub with a duck
on it,
and then you're like, oh, they haven't done anything, and then it scares the crap out of you because you go around the corner and there's a giant rubber ducky quacking away at you that makes you jump, which was just annoying actually. But yeah, that could really be done with doing up, especially if it's going to if they're going to class it as Marauders, part of Mutiny Bay. Doing it out of pirate theme would be badass, or just knock the damn thing down and build a better one.
They need a flume. You had to have a flume ride, but yeah, they've got to really figure out what they want to do with it.
My thing with that flume is I have been on better flumes. It's a nice flume. It's not the best flume. They could do with building. I think log flumes are a classic and are an amazing, fun, wet ride. I think they could do. I think they need. Someone needs to take a stand and do a new, innovative log flume. And why not Alton Towers? Why not bust down the old one and build a new one? Screw it. You know.
And lastly, it's the shows.
Yeah.
Today we saw some of the Pirates of Mutiny Bay, the Kidnap of Lady Victoria Sponge.
Mm-hmm.
They're what you expect from me. It's very panto.
It is. It's a mini panto.
It is a mini panto. It was tremendous fun. And good sports on the cast. There was only about 10, 15 people at most.
And most of them were just trying to eat
most
their
people
lunch.
were just having their lunch and just happened to be there. I think there was like one family group and one couple actually watching the show. But they still put on the show and put their heart into it. So I had to take my hat off to them actually for that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very panto, exactly what you'd expect. But from what we saw, it did look quite good fun. We were too busy wanting to eat as quickly as we could and run on more rides.
Yeah, we have seen the show in other years. We have sort of, when we've had longer time in the park to get on with things, we have sort of booked time to sit down and watch them. Because we like panto things. I think what impresses me the most with it is the stage. It's not like they just put it on in this crappy little corner. They've built this really pretty little stage.
Pyrotechnics.
Pyrotechnics. And all sorts of things.
Yeah, all sorts
Flaming
of
eyes coming out the skull and Yeah, I'm trying to think of all the other stuff we've seen
There's
it do.
the barrels of piranha fish, and then they'll bubble up every time they say piranha.
Or whatever they're doing that
Or whatever
year.
they're doing that year, yeah.
There's a few different. This is
We've
the
seen
thing
a few
is-
different shows.
Yeah. But there's hundreds of different. There's loads of different stuff that stage does pyrotechnically, which is really good. So yeah, if you're looking to see if to stop for a minute, have a sit down, the show's a good one to see. Or you can. There's loads of food places around that sort of area, so go and grab your dinner, lunch, and go and sit and watch a show. It's great fun. If you like pantos, if you don't, avoid it.
Yes. Yes, that's really it, to be honest, yeah. Like pantos, see it. You don't.
Yeah, it's a piratey show. Woo.
Stand there, Lady Fairy Cake!
My name is Lady Victoria Sponge.
Oh, whatever. All I cares about is getting the ransom off your fiancé, the Earl Baron Bird.
I told you I don't want to go back to him. We don't love each other.
Top tentacles and pay the ransom. Now stop your whinging, or I'll feed you to the Baron of Flesh-Eater Piranha. Fish.
What Baron of flesh-eating piranha?
Well, this Baron of Flesh-Eater Piranha. Fish.
This is outrageous.
Say hello to the last person I kidnapped and not stop whinging. Hello. Hello. Hello.
No more whinging from me.
And
Cool. What's
on to
next?
you, the next world.
I'll do because it's sitting there and it's very small. The Gloomy Wood, which is very small nowadays, I think they've sort of run out of room with what to do with it, or not quite sure. Duel, The Haunted House Strikes Back, is the key thing. It's a haunted house. It's the haunted house. The Alton Tower haunted house, when it was built, was massive. It was probably one of the most complicated pieces of equipment they've ever.
It's a very large haunted house. I must say, I've been on a few now, and that's probably the longest haunted house.
I think it's also the best. Certainly the one in Blackpool was, crap.
That was 100 years old. That's 1910 it was built.
Fair enough. But it was crap.
I
But
don't think they've painted it since then.
yeah, and so added a couple of bits like Slimer in just to
To bring it up to date.
bring it up to date. But no, the haunted house is excellent. It's very pretty. It's very good, and it is the ride that put the fear of haunted houses into me. Literally, this is the ride my brother and dad talked me into going on it. Oh, it's not scary, you'll be fine, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. We went round, yeah, we're going on this, and I sat on the ride and went, oh, it's kind of scary. And there's a big monster on a chain comes out and goes, "Rargh!" right over you. I went, oh, I didn't like that, I didn't like that, no, I didn't like that. And then 2 seconds later, you turn the corner, and another one goes, "Rargh!" No, I don't know how to get off.
To this day, he will still do everything he can to get out of a haunted house.
Is it done yet?
But yeah, the gimmick with this one is that now you can fight back with laser guns! And shoot them.
Yeah, because as always, haunted houses over time get less scary because people get more accustomed to scary things, really, and then you sort of start seeing where the joints are because people have been on newer and better ones. So yeah, they've covered the entire place in LEDs and given you a laser gun and let you go for rock. I think it makes it feel safer.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
On the basis that I have something to shoot back with, because it's a fictional space, I have a fictional weapon, so I can shoot the fictional monsters. So, and if something turns real and actually comes at me, I've got something I can hit them with!
I think the guns are a bit gimmicky.
They are. It was a way to try and spruce
It
up
was a
an
way to
old
give
ride.
it
That thing's as old as me.
That's almost the issue. I almost feel like I'd rather they'd spent the money
And built a
instead
new
of
one.
going, it's zombies, and covering LEDs and installing these laser guns. It's just
And adding a fake sort of Resident Evil
take
plot.
everything out and rebuild it on the inside.
It's still very pretty.
It's still very
I mean,
pretty.
you could just put if you think the gun's gimmicky, you can just put it down and sit back and enjoy the ride.
It's also because I'm terrible at shooting games.
I quite like the gun. I think it's great fun, but And that's Haunted House. And the only other part of the Gloomy Wood, which is really good and is part of the gardens as well, which we might as well just incorporate as the whole kit and caboodle, is, there's the Haunted Hollow, which is a walkway from Marauder's Mayhem to Marauder's Mayhem, Mutiny Bay, piratey bit, to the Gloomy Wood, to Jewel. And it's a pretty little walkway, but they've added in all sorts of fun little interactive things.
Yeah,
so
gravestones that talk when you walk past them, and
crypts where
mirrors
you
and
can
things.
mirrors that you look in and it shows you a spooky face, and crypts where you can sort of look in a crack and it'll show you monsters and all sorts of weird little things like that. Some of it's comical, some of it's supposed to make you jump, some of it's just pretty. It's worth walking down, even if you're just cutting from A to B and have a quick poke about and see what's there. I know
during the Scarefest, there's guaranteed to be somebody hiding.
Yeah,
to jump out, so.
yeah. On the Scarefest, which we did last time we were there, there were people specifically dressed up. Some of them were staff. Some of them.
I suspect some of them were just people.
There were
people.
there was one person who was running around up and down the Haunted Hollow who was just really into his Halloween and just thought it was fun buggering about. Scaring people, because if you're walking down the Haunted Hollow, tough. So that was quite fun. Apart from that, that's really it for the Gloomy Woods. They could maybe do with putting something else there at some point.
Well, then read them out.
Elizabeth von Roning. They sailed on their honeymoon far away, but their ship went down the very next day. These stepping stones before you
Lay.
dance
Dance and leap.
and leap and hear them play.
Go on then. The cell's quite enjoying playing. Here lies the body of Diva Donna Ellis. Sleep on the stone. Step on the stone.
Dance and be merry.
Diva's voice will turn you to jelly. So the idea is, I think, you're supposed to be able to. The cello's enjoying itself at least. Mirror, mirror on the wall, can you hear the maiden's call? Careful not to look too closely for fear of seeing something ghostly. I don't think that turned up very well.